every political structure or happenstance, like every other thing in life, has a pattern, or rather has a set down rule. If you go to the primary election, and it happens that he didn't get the ticket, I know him very well. He will support whoever gets it. Because he's a partner, he will support whoever gets it. Provided it is done on a level playing field. Once it is done on a level playing field, and there's nothing behind, it was just free and fair, he will not have any other president to support whoever imagine. But we are saying the parties, we are saying from the party that since the independence, or rather since after the Civil War, that it is time to practice no victor, no vanquish. It is time to rotate, to let for the other zones, to let an able man, to let somebody from the southeast get to the apex level of leadership in this country. Why we are saying that, why we are so particular this time around, is that we have a candidate, or who's for now an aspirant. We have an aspirant under PDP who is not just going there because he comes from the southeast. We are sending him because he's the best we have around. He's the best we have around based on antecedents.
Okay.
Based on his antecedents. As a human being first, a very disciplined human being, and then a very hardworking one, who, after 8 years of governance, his records are still unblemished.
Okay.
Till we stop today. You
Right.
will hear him pushing cutting costs of governance. He's not saying those things for the sound of his voice. It is what is practiced. That was why he was able to sell 75 billion and kept it aside, 25 billion in cash and investment for his predecessor, and another $156 million saved in 3 different banks for the future of the generations of Anambarians. So if you look at those antecedents, you can't find any better person.
Well, when you still talk about options, we have seen former Governor Peter Obi move his close relationship with Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, because in the last elections, he was pairing with, as a running mate to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. And now both of them are contesting or are aspiring on with separate interests. It is possible that if the People's Democratic Party zones its presidential ticket to the south or the southeast, as the case may be, that Atiku might be left with 2 options, either Peter Obi or Senator Anyim Pius Anyim. What do you think at that point the former vice president would go for the choice of Peter Obi, if you say so?
This is politics, and it's usually very, very unpredictable. You cannot, in politics, you cannot accurately predict human nature. But I can only tell you that I followed Peter Obi everywhere in support of His Excellency, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar, and he supported him without reservations. Throughout the sessions in court, I was there with Mr. Peter Obi. He was at every session in court contesting their mandate. He was at every session in court. I was there too, so nobody was telling me. I was there steadily with him every session until the end of the proceedings of the last presidential tribunal, the last presidential election tribunal. I know that His Excellency Peter Obi did not reserve anything in him in supporting Atiku during their joint ticket.
Well, we'll put a pause to it right here and get back to you, Mr. Obasi. After the short timeout, please stay with us.
Nigerian police, which is the only one allowed by grossly abused. Our governors have to share police powers with the president as stipulated by the Constitution. We do not have a federal government police force. We have the Nigeria Police Force, which shall be administered, organized, and supervised by the Nigerian Police Force.
No, my lord, I want to say something. I want to say something here. Perhaps it might also enlarge the scope of people who should be invited here for examination. My lord, if we cannot find those who literally murdered Abiola, who are those people who could be said to be the beneficiaries of the death of Abiola?
Rogers has linked you with some of the killings he did.
He never did.
He linked you with the attempted murder of Hebrew.
He did not.
My lord, the Matters Council is leading the evidence in our matters.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord, but we can't be talking about cases which are in court.
Is this an adversary proceeding?
It's not, my lord. These cases are in court, my lord. I'm just reminding you, your lordship.
My lord, sorry, my lord, I think I'll be in cross-examination.
Legally Speaking, a program that deals with legal issues and questions we face as citizens of this amazing country, Nigeria. Legally Speaking. Join us every
Friday from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m.
for Legally Speaking.
Glad to have you back. Yes, this is Political Spectrum, reaching you live from the beautiful hills of Ibiakura. And of course, you can reach out to us through our socials, our different social media handles on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. And of course, you can comment and also make suggestions as regards our focus for today. And we'll look out to it for that. Meanwhile, Mr. Obasi, you still there, right?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, Mr. Meka, I'm concerned because quite a number of persons aspiring for the presidential position from the Southeast. We've talked about former Governor Peter Obi, who has, formally gotten a form or to aspire, and then Governor Dave Umahi is also aspiring, and then Senator Ayim Pius Ayim is also aspiring. Do you see them merging camp at some point, or do you think any consensus can come out of the Southeast to front one person if they really want to push for a Southeast president?
Yeah, like I said earlier. Human. You cannot predict human nature, especially when it comes to politics. It depends on the mindset. It depends on what all the aspirants started out with, or what they intended from the beginning. It is a possibility that they could get together, depending on happenstances and depending on what happens along the way. There's a possibility they can come together. Before you know it, they say, okay, we are queuing behind one person. There's equally a possibility that all of them could go to the ballot, however it ends. So as of now, it's on May 28th the primary PDP presidential primary will happen about 2 months from now, or less than 2 months from now. It's still a very long time in politics. 1 month is a very long time in politics. Even in primary election, 24 hours is a very long time. Anything can happen. Constitution can be made, consensuses can be made, and 10 candidates can become one. Or 5 candidates can become one. 10 can even become one. So, but everybody has to play his card. Everybody has to play the card. Sometimes in this kind of way, I think the bigger the merrier. Because when there is a lot of aspirations, a lot of people aspiring, it brings out the best in each one of them. So when the choice is being made on where to narrow down to, it becomes easier. Then probably one person comes, so you won't see his best and they are following him sheepishly. No. When there are a lot of people, this is the presidency of this country, for goodness sake, my dear. It has to be a serious affair. So anybody, if there are 10 people from the Southeast, let them have it. But from there, everybody show your stuff. When it is coming to the end of when we are approaching end game, there can be some consensus on how to align. But as far as I'm concerned, as far as I can say, the field is open. Let everybody who has the capacity join. Let me know. Let Nigerians judge. Let Nigerians see them.
Well, comparatively to what happened in the just concluded APC National Convention, we saw more of consensus, and they say that was done to avoid some conflict after the convention. And that could be the same case with having many aspirants, which of course we know is just one person that will fly the flag of the party for a particular position. Do you see that as something that might bring some sort of conflict within the People's Democratic Party?
Provided it is the game is played according to rules. Provided it's not all about character assassination.
Does politics have rules?
Yeah. Provided it is done played within the rules of sanity. I don't see any problem with having many contestants. It brings out the best in every contestant. So when we are now talking about having a consensus, it will be easier to narrow down on the best. But when you bring out somebody, when he feels it is his own ticket, it is very you might not see enough. And another thing is that primary is one thing, the main election is another. When you have more people contesting, you are being prepared for the main election. But when you are just coming to just pick the ticket and go, the main election might be difficult for you. So if the PDP is, they have, as of the last count, 11 people have picked tickets. About 12 people have picked tickets as we speak. Depending on what the zoning committee of the party is going to say, which expectedly, if they go southeast, we might be talking of about 4 or 5 contestants. So if those people are there and they are all contesting and they are showing their stuff, it is equally preparing them for the main election. And I said, provided it is done within the rules and not in the idea of trying to assassinate anybody's character. And I believe from the quality of the people from the southeast already coming out, they must have enough decorum to pursue the aspirations within the rules of the law and within sanity and within respect for each other. So once that is done, I don't see any problem.
Well, talking about not having no problems, we have seen in recent times Peter Obi attending functions, honoring invites from former President Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, former Vice President, I mean to say. Now that move, a lot of persons would describe as lobbying. Do you share the same sentiments?
Yeah, no, that's what I was trying to explain to you about the man called Peter Obi. He has his ways of doing things. There is no bitterness in whatever he does. Most of the time, when you see people coming after him, he doesn't even stop to respond. He always tell us, those who are always close by, that the reason why God put your eyes in the front is for you to be moving ahead, not to look back. Okay. That your eyes should be in the front and move ahead. So he is not somebody who does anything with any kind of bitterness. Okay. So if his own boss, yes, his own boss in the past election gives out an invite to him to be at his declaration, he is the kind of person who should go there. It doesn't take anything away from him. The next day he was declaring, he was making his own declaration in Anambra State here in Awka, in Anambra State Government House. That's why he made his declaration. The following day after attending. So it is nothing at all. There's nothing to read from there, apart from the man, the humble nature of the man we're talking about. Okay. The way he plays it is that nothing should be viewed with bitterness. It is all a game that should be played with smiles. That is him for you. Well,
I'm concerned about former President Olusegun Obasanjo's opinion towards candidates or aspirants that said or that supposedly that groups have purchased them nomination forms. He has practically stated that no Nigerian citizen should vote for them, that they are lying. That I know that some words in 2015 when Nigeria really needed change, it was also said that some groups came up to buy forms for the President Muhammadu Buhari, then an aspirant and now the president because he won the elections. I would like to say at this point, What do you make of that? Do you think it's genuine that Nigerian youths who are assumed to be lazy and with a high rate of unemployment in this country, that some young persons will have the money to the tune of 40 million naira to buy nomination forms for aspirants who they do not even know whether or not the person will go past the primary stage? What's your opinion on that?
My own is this. If you see anything that is good for you, go for it. And I believe those young Nigerians who contributed money to purchase those forms only believed so strongly that the man they are purchasing the forms with lies the future of the nation.
Wait a minute. Do you believe in the first instance that actually, in the real sense of it, Nigerian youth actually bought the form for some of these candidates, for some of these aspirants?
I know where you are driving at is that 2 days ago that some young professionals went to the PDP secretariat, Wadada Plaza, to purchase the forms for nomination forms for His Excellency Peter Obi. I think that's where you are driving at. Now, what I'm telling you is, most of us who believe in him, the Nigerians that believe in him, know that this is the right man for the job. And you cannot say somebody is aspiring for something, and if there's something you can give to make sure that it comes out, why can't you contribute? Because, what I see from there is that sometimes after electioneering, some of the winners must have spent so much money in campaigning that the first thing they do when they get into office is to try to recoup. That's why most of the times, most promises are left unkept. Now, these young people came together and say, this is our way to reduce those money that particular individual will spend when he gets into office. So that what we face immediately he goes in is to start improving on promises made. And since they believe this is the best man for the job, they decided I have to contribute. And let me tell you the honest truth. The honest truth here is that every other Nigerian who believes in somebody's quality should contribute. He should contribute. So that it doesn't mean he will buy, he will spend all his money, he do everything that when he goes to the no. Why do we contribute? Why will somebody like me contribute? I will contribute because I know that when that man gets in there, he will change, he will bring the change that will make things, that will make everybody make things better.
Yes.
So if you are making, no matter whatever business you are in, it will blossom. Wow. So that's why some people do what? Some people contribute without looking back. Some people contribute because of the future of their children. Some people contribute because education will be better. Some people contribute because there will be chance, there will be power, and they don't have to be, spending so much in production. These are the things. These are the reasons why the people say, if this is not for only the money bags, this man could not get there. So this is our own contribution to make sure that this man that has every right, that has every ability to restore this nation should get there. I believe that was what those young professionals did in the case of P2B. And I support them 100% because I know who they are contributing for, and I know what he's doing, and I know what they are doing, and I know that when he gets there,
specific. Excuse me, you're specific about former Governor Peter Obi, but relatively, he's not the only person that groups have come up to get form for. So what do you make of others?
No, why I'm being specific about him is because he's the person I know. And I want to explain to you the feeling they have. Those people that did it, the feeling they have. That's why they did it. And if it is the same belief the other people are pursuing, nothing against that. But I want you to also understand that politicians have their ways of doing some manipulation. Give the money behind, and they said, let it be that it was this people who purchased the funds. But I'm just telling you about the man I know who is not into that kind of into that type of business. He hasn't got time to
now
arrange
generally, what's your how do you view? Do you believe Nigerian youths would actually, get 40 million naira to buy a nomination form for a politician?
It is something based on what? Based on what I say. It's not a mandate. Nobody mandated them. It's just based on way to assist. If some group of people believe that they have the money and they can purchase the form for whoever they wish to support, you can stop them. It's a free world. It's a free nation. We are in democracy. There's nothing said in our constitution that says it is wrong. So since it's not going against the constitution, there's nothing wrong in doing that. They can afford the money. The way it has become something wrong is that
they're not saying there's something wrong with that. A lot of persons, maybe perhaps former President Olusegun Obasanjo is of the opinion that they are lying, that they are actually using their money to buy the forms in disguise, to say that groups, young people came together to purchase the form for them, maybe to gain some sort of acceptability.
Yes, now, I know where you are going. That was why I was particular. I was trying to be particular based on the man I know. If you are this interview I'm granting now, I am telling you that man I know, who is called Peter Gregory Obi, will not ever go behind and give anybody any dime to go and purchase form for him. He wouldn't do that. He's not that kind of person. That was why I was being particular on him, because this is the person I know.
Okay.
Any other person that was purchased on, I don't know. I don't know what happened. That I cannot say what happened. But I am telling you what happened in this case about the man I know. That was why I was being very particular. So any other one, I don't know. But what I know, it is not against the constitution. It has not against any rule. It's not a crime. And if it is done genuinely, I say it 3 times. There's nothing wrong about that, as far as I am concerned.
Okay. At this point, let's digress a little bit. Nigerians were promised change in 2015. And we have seen how far Nigerians can say a thing or two about the change. But now it's a time for another elections, and people are throwing themselves to join the race, one of which is Peter Obi. He has said he wants to turn around. And you would agree that at some point the word change became very controversial. Now Peter Obi is using the word turnaround, which is a synonym to change. Now what kind of turnaround are we looking at this point?
Yeah, let me draw you to something. When this man entered as governor of Anambra State, there was nothing about a planned mode of saving for the state. Not to talk of saving in dollars. Apart from handing over 75 billion in cash and investments, he equally started saving. And he saved, before he left office, $156 million in 3 different banks of Access, Diamond, and Fidelity. What was he saving for? He was saving this money, having in mind that by the year 2030, the method of saving for and compound interest generation would have gotten Anambra State to $1 billion. That amount would have been used by Anambra State and other the state government in partnership with some other people, private sector, would have set up to 1,000 SMEs, small and medium scale industries. How did he get to start thinking like that? He went to China and found out that was how China, within 10 years, solved up to over 500 million people out of poverty. Now, it is what has been done before, and it has the future, it has the vision to do that. Unfortunately, it was not continued when he left, but that's not why we are here. That's the story for another day.
Well, indeed, story for another day, because time will fail us. In one minute, in one sentence, I mean to say, in one sentence, what would you say would be the major turnaround for Peter Obi, perhaps if he makes it to fly the flag of the PDP?
Yeah, I wanted to learn. Some premises will turn around. You look at his antecedents and history. The history tells you that he has the ability to do that. History tells you that when he says it, he means it. He's not just saying it for saying sake.
Well,
he's saying it because he knows that he can turn around.
Well, I hope the turnaround is in the positive.
Very positive.
Well, I'd like to say thank you at this point for sharing your thoughts with us on the show. Thank you very much. I have been speaking with Tai Emeka Obasi from Awka, Anambra State Capital. He is a follower, or has been a follower of Peter Obi for 13 good years. That's over a decade. And he believes that Peter Obi has a chance and has what it takes to turn around, in quote. But perhaps he has affirmed that it is for the positive. But we wish them luck on that. That's a show for today. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Otobasi Tom. I'll see you on Monday.